Wars have been fought over land, power, and revenge, but what if I told you that some wars started over the dumbest reasons imaginable? From a stolen bucket to a dog crossing the wrong border, these wars prove that sometimes history is just ridiculous. So buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the silliest skirmishes ever fought. Get ready to be amazed by the sheer absurdity of it all, because it's about to get weird. Our first stop takes us to the sun-drenched fields of Italy, where in 1325 the cities of Modena and Bologna, already engaged in a long-standing rivalry, decided to take their feud to a whole new level of absurdity. Picture this. A group of Modenese soldiers, bored and probably hungover from too much wine, decide to pull a prank on their Bolognese rivals. Their weapon of choice? You guessed it, a humble wooden bucket. This bucket, stolen from Bologna's main well, became a symbol of Modenese dominance. The Bolognese, understandably miffed about their stolen bucket, demanded its immediate return. But the Modenese, high on their victory, refused, and so began the War of the Bucket. Thousands of soldiers clashed on the battlefield, swords and arrows flew, all for a simple wooden bucket. The fighting was fierce, the casualties numerous, but in the end it was Modena who emerged victorious, bucket firmly in hand. That very same bucket can still be seen in Modena today, a testament to the ridiculousness of it all. Next up, we journey across the Atlantic to the wilds of North America, where in 1859, the United States and Great Britain, two global superpowers, were brought to the brink of war over a pig with a penchant for trespassing. Picture this. The San Juan Islands, a disputed archipelago off the coast of what is now Washington state, inhabited by both American settlers and British fur traders. Enter the pig, a creature of simple desires, prone to wandering where it pleased. This unsuspecting swine, belonging to an American farmer named Lyman Cutler, decided one fateful day that the grass was greener on the other side of the fence, specifically the garden of a British settler named Charles Griffin. Griffin, not one to share his produce, shot the trespasser dead. Cutler, upon discovering his pig's untimely demise, demanded compensation from Griffin. Word spread, tempers flared, and soon the entire island was divided, Americans siding with Cutler, the British backing Griffin. Both governments dispatched troops to the island. For weeks, tensions simmered, the threat of war looming large, all over a pig. In the end, cooler heads prevailed, and both sides agreed to a joint occupation of the island, effectively ending the conflict without a single human casualty. Now, let's hop over to Mexico in 1838, where a dispute over pastries ignited a full-blown international conflict. It all started with a French pastry chef, Remontel, who claimed that Mexican officers had ransacked his bakery in Mexico City. He demanded a staggering 600,000 pesos in damages from the Mexican government. The Mexican government, understandably skeptical, declined his request. France, however, saw an opportunity and declared war on Mexico. The French Navy blockaded Mexican ports, bombarded Veracruz, and engaged in skirmishes with Mexican forces. In the end, Mexico, outmatched, was forced to concede defeat and pay the exorbitant sum demanded by France. Fast forward to 1925, where we find ourselves in the Balkans, a region long known for its volatile politics and simmering tensions. This time it was Greece and Bulgaria, two neighbors with a complicated history who found themselves on the brink of war, all thanks to a stray dog with a penchant for border crossings. Picture this. A Greek soldier stationed at a remote outpost along the Greek-Bulgarian border is going about his day minding his own business when his dog decides to go for a little stroll. This particular stroll took the dog across the heavily guarded border and into Bulgarian territory. The soldier, realizing his furry companion's transgression, panicked and ran after his dog, crossing the border himself. The Bulgarian border guards, ever vigilant, spotted the soldier and opened fire, killing him instantly. News of the incident spread like wildfire, inflaming tensions between the two countries. Greece, outraged, demanded an apology and reparations from Bulgaria. The League of Nations intervened, forcing both sides to back down and agree to a ceasefire. Our final stop takes us to the vast outback of Australia, where in 1932 the Australian Army engaged in a war against a formidable foe, the emu. Yes, you heard that right, emus, those large flightless birds, became the unlikely enemy in a conflict that would go down in history as the Emu War. Picture this. Western Australia, reeling from the effects of the Great Depression, is facing a new threat, an invasion of epic proportions. Over 20,000 emus, driven by drought and lured by the promise of easy pickings, descend upon the farmlands, wreaking havoc on crops and destroying fences. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and so the Australian government decided to call in the big guns. Soldiers armed with Lewis machine guns were dispatched to deal with the emu menace. The emus, surprisingly adept at evading the soldiers, scattered at the first sign of gunfire and continued their relentless march. After weeks of futile attempts, the Australian government admitted defeat. The emus had won. So, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of some of the silliest wars ever fought. From stolen buckets to pastry-fueled invasions, from dog-induced border disputes to emu-thwarting military campaigns, these conflicts serve as a stark reminder that history is often stranger and far more ridiculous than fiction. These wars highlight the absurdity of conflict and the ease with which misunderstandings can escalate into violence. So next time you find yourself in a heated argument, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this really worth going to war over? If you enjoyed this journey into historical absurdity, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments which of these silly wars you found the most ridiculous. Until next time, stay curious, my friends.